Welcome everyone to Discover This. Well, today we got a story from Albuquerque, New Mexico about rock and roll drummer Randy Castillo and his life and the bands he was in, some of which you'll recognize, the music he played on, some of which you probably played air guitar to or sung along to. So we're right alongside I-25 here in Albuquerque, and we're going to tell the story of Randy Castillo. Randolfo Francisco Castillo was born December 18, 1950 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. His mother was Spanish, French, and Native American, and his father was Native American and Hispanic. Randy wanted to play the drums after seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, which many musicians wanted to start a band or play an instrument after seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. He did play trumpet for a short time, but realized drums were his passion. In high school, West Mesa High School in Albuquerque, he played in a jazz band, the orchestra, and the marching band. He joined some Albuquerque bands, the Gremlins from roughly 1963 to 64, then the Purple Blues from 1964 to 66. Then at 18 he played in a band called the Tabs from around 1968 to 1969. Around 1970, he joined the Mud, who later changed the spelling to 2 Ds to avoid confusion with another band called the Mud. The Mud, with 2 Ds, recorded 2 albums. After that, he joined the Wombleys, another local Albuquerque band that was making a name for themselves. It was a cover band playing Zeppelin, Yes, Black Sabbath, stuff like that. They played all over Albuquerque, but they also toured the U.S. The band ended up moving from Albuquerque to Denver, Colorado, where they broke up in 1980. Randy then joined the Offenders in 1980, and they recorded 1 album before Randy realized he needed to move to Los Angeles to make it to the big time. Randy got a gig playing drums for the Motels on their tour opening for the Cars, a big arena tour. Randy spent 1982 playing for a Chicago-based band called USSA. In 1984, Randy recorded with a band called Stone Fury. Then Randy was hired to play drums for Lita Ford, and he drummed on her Dancing on the Edge album and tour. That tour took them all over the U.S. and the world. After that tour, Randy got a call from a guy Lita Ford had introduced him to, a guy by the name of Tommy Lee, the drummer for Motley Crue. Tommy Lee told Randy that Ozzy Osbourne was looking for a drummer and he should go check that out. Randy ended up getting hired by Ozzy and was with Ozzy for about 10 years. He recorded the Ultimate Sin album, the No Rest for the Wicked album, the Just Say Ozzy album, and the live album Live and Loud. There's also about 10 years worth of touring with Ozzy.
Randy Castillo!
After recording Ozzy's live album in 1993, Randy joined the band Bone Angels, which didn't last too long before they broke up. He then went on to Red Square Black in 1994, another short-lived adventure. He was back with Ozzy in 1995 for a tour. Then he also recorded some tribute albums. He did all the drumming on Leopard Mania, a tribute album to Def Leppard, and he also recorded with Ronnie James Dio on a cover of Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare for an Alice Cooper tribute album. In 1999, Tommy Lee had left Motley Crue. and Sharon Osbourne called Randy and told him to go check that out, and he ended up getting the job without having to audition. See, Randy was friends with the band, and he had toured briefly as the drummer in Vince Neil's solo band. Randy recorded the New Tattoo album in 2000 with Motley Crue, and they were getting ready to tour with Anthrax and Megadeth. So a couple weeks before the tour was to start, Randy became ill after performing a club show with a mariachi band he would perform with from time to time. So he took a cab to the hospital. He collapsed in the waiting room. Doctors had found an ulcer had ruptured and performed emergency surgery that actually saved Randy's life. He had to back out of the Motley Crue tour to take some time off to recover, and during that time, Randy found a lump on his jaw that eventually grew to the size of a golf ball. Back to the doctors, who found it was a squamous cell carcinoma, usually treatable if found in time. The cancer went into remission, but returned within a few months, more aggressively. Randy Castillo died at his home in Los Angeles on March 26, 2002, from cancer. And after Randy Castillo passed away at his house in Los Angeles, he was brought home to Albuquerque, specifically here to Mount Calvary Cemetery. And Randy is interred in the Mount Calvary Mausoleum, Chapel Mausoleum, and he's interred alongside his mother. After his death, his high school renamed the Performing Arts Center after Randy Castillo.
He was best known for jamming out with the likes of Ozzy Osbourne and Motley Crue, but now one famous drummer and New Mexico native is getting honored by his old high school. According to the Albuquerque Journal, the West Mesa High School Performing Arts Center will be named after Randy Castillo. Castillo was 51 years old when he died from cancer in 2002. He was part of the first graduating class at West Mesa High School back in 1968 and launched his career playing with local bands. The official renaming ceremony is set for tomorrow.
There's also a great documentary made about Randy Castillo called The Life, Blood, and Rhythm of Randy Castillo. And you can check it out on different streaming services, or you could buy the DVD. But it's a really good documentary, real well put together. So that's going to do it, everyone, for this story on Randy Castillo, a great rock and roll drummer. A lot of history there, a lot of great music, taken way too soon from us. But I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we will see you next time on Discover This.